What's up guys, it's me Zerodomai Kitsune and here we are with another Fox Guide Fallout mods, this time with just a random assortment of mods that I had been looking at lately. Nothing special. As you can see here, these are the times of each mod talked about, so if you're looking for one in particular, there you go. Otherwise, we're in another format. This time I hope this one stays as it's relatively easy to reproduce and fits in with my particular modding setup, going through mods, looking at them, testing them out, all that such. But either way, all that said, let's go ahead and get started. If you were disappointed that a lot of the weapons that originate from Fallout New Vegas weren't available in Fallout 4, this next mod is for you. The Laser RCW by MikeMoore is a complete recreation of the original Laser RCW from Fallout New Vegas, and instead, unlike a bunch of other mods on the Nexus, use completely original assets rather than just using the SMG model from vanilla or ripping the model from Fallout New Vegas, which is apparently against the rules. When it comes to attachments, the options for this gun are rather sparse, but I actually like it this way as compared to the vanilla, which has a bunch of fluff and are vastly outpaced by their superior versions at the end of the upgrade table. This one just has a couple of different versions which have specific purposes, such as the short stock and its full stock, or the different muzzles, compensator, standard, and suppressor. Now, one thing I do want to note is that this weapon has an upgrade receiver which seems bugged compared to the other two, as it deals more damage than the overcharge just on paper, and it's not the final tier, but if you notice, I have to recreate it every time I want to get it, so that's a little bit weird. Putting this weapon into combat, we can see an interesting thing is that it's leaning to the left. Now this might be to compensate for the fact that this mod before had problems with its sights being off and maybe the modeler moved it. But as you saw there, that was a reload animation. Now it uses the SMG reload animation, but it kind of makes sense as you're taking out the power cell in order to replace it. Maybe a modder can give it its own custom reload animation down the line, but for now it works just fine. Let me try some VATS action here. There you go, a bunch of different angles. It looks really nice in VATS because just the whole gun itself is pretty amazing. I'm gonna die. Run away! Bye bye. Holy crap, I'm not dead. But all in all, this is a really good gun. You can find it on generic enemies that were gonna spawn with SMGs, as that's how the level list has been configured for this mod. And that's about that. Now if you're like me, you use CBBE to customize all your female characters, and if it was available you'd customize them in too, to something more your liking than the vanilla bodies. But particularly with a handful of outfits, you end up with this weird sucking effect, and while it does work out for really tight bodied outfits, kinda sorta, it's still not that realistic. Some things such as this simple dress or this, they just don't look right, and for the most part we just had to deal with it. But with CBBE vanilla outfits Boobfixed by Kiiba, you can see that problem is pretty much alleviated. Instead of having a deep valley in between your female character's breast, you can see that it's much more realistic. Now this mod at the moment covers only a handful of outfits, but it does a fairly good job. As you can see, it's still present inside the dress, but keep in mind I have also used race menu to modify my character's outfit a little bit more, and it does cover a variety of outfits. The mod creator does plan on doing more of these just as they're requested, so check out the mod page and just maybe leave a comment inside the comment section for something you want to see fixed, because yeah, it's a fix for the most part. But the more important reason why I want to showcase this mod is that this is really a problem that's existed since Bodyslide has been created, but everyone really just pushed it aside and didn't really worry about it. I hope that showing notice to what the outfits could look like and still work inside of Bodyslide may drive more people to take a little more time and just a little bit more crafting when they do those Bodyslide conversions, and maybe we'll get this. Or maybe the mod author will just become a god and single-handedly redo 80% of all Bodyslide conversions on the Nexus. Not likely, but you know, who knows. If you were one of those players who saw the CBBE body type and thought the presets and conversions were just a little bit too thin for you, then this mod has you covered. Those hips for Bodyslide and CBBE by the Digital Kid 1001 is a more filled out Bodyslide preset. Yeah, filled out is a good way to call it. This is actually, I'd say, a more realistic kind of body than a lot of the ones on the Nexus. You know, your mileage may vary, but let's get right into showing you what the sliders do to it. Now right here we are in the center of it. So as you can see in the body type, oh, we're not in the center of it. A little bit, there you go, right in the center. Now you can go to the rail thin, which brings you a little bit closer to, you know, standard CBBE. Or you could go to muscular, and this actually makes you look a lot more muscular than the vanilla Fallout characters' bodies. So that's actually pretty cool. And large is no longer large. Large is fat. Let's be clear here. But I know a lot of people were saying that this preset's fat. Nah, it's a little bit more realistic than what I guess a bunch of people are thinking of on the Nexus. Now I'm gonna go ahead and show you this from the side and back as well. Once again, large is fat in this, middle is not fat. Muscular just adds a lot to the upper arms and the back, which is pretty cool. And thin makes you lose any and all ass, so avoid at all cost. 1, see around there. 2, see around there. And 3, see around there. If I was using this preset, I would probably have it somewhere around here. And not at the center, because I think that's boring and you need some personalization in it. But maybe just a little bit right about here. So as you can see, yeah, it looks pretty good. Get your little sprinting animation, your jumping, shooting, all that good stuff. If you like adding bits of realism to Fallout 4, then this next mod might be for you. True Frags Watch Out for Shrapnel by Make Fallout Great Again committee adds fragmentation to the baseball grenade, frag grenade, bottle cap mine, frag mine, and if you have Nuka World, the fragmentation MIRV grenade. The fragmentation adds a decent sized AoE on top of the existing grenade damage to all grenades affected. You also have a bunch of customizable options in the installation that allow you to add a sort of knockdown to the initial grenade blast, change the range of the fragmentation, and also increase the damage, ranging from slightly weaker than the initial grenade blast to exactly as much damage as a fragmentation grenade does for each bullet. So it's actually a decent sized bit of damage. Now me personally, I go with adding a low damage blast, no knockdown, and just maximum range, because I like to think of this game in game mechanics and less realism. Speaking of realism, the fragmentation is a lot more gamey than realistic. As you can see, we're going to do a slowdown of this. As you can see, the fragmentation isn't super numerous. It's a decent amount, but still feels a bit gamey, like grenade designed to shoot bullets at people. Gonna slow it down one more time for you. And there you go. It makes a pretty cool light show effect to it as well. So not only is it effective, it's also kind of stylish to see, especially when slowed down. If you're a big fan of Overwatch, then this next mod is for you. Pharah's Security Chief Armor by AthenaX adds Pharah's Security Chief Uniform Alternate into the world of Fallout 4. As you can see here, it is beautifully remade. using hand-created assets created by the mod author, instead of using any stolen assets that are actually illegal. As you can see here, it's pretty amazing. Sadly though, it only comes in the female form, as the male just has the standard combat armor uniform. I'm glad though that it's not just invisible, as that's what a lot of armors use instead. The armor can be crafted at the chemistry station under its own category, and the stats for them along with their requirements are pretty average, with the outfit having 50 armor and injury resistance standing out. But the requirements aren't too steep. You need armor rank 1 to make these, and the helmet and chest piece have a little bit extra on top of them compared to the rest, but it all seems pretty standard. When it comes to modifications, the only really standout thing about this armor is the fact you can change its colors, which actually makes it significantly better than the actual Overwatch skin, which only comes in one color. Aside from that, you have the standard combat armor upgrade and standard miscellaneous things, and the ability to add ballistic weave to it. All in all, I really do like this armor, despite the fact that I would actually call it a cosplay armor. And by cosplay I mean that its integration into the game of Fallout 4 is kinda weird, because it's only available from the crafting station, you can't get it off enemies, it doesn't have a male form. These are just standard things that I just group all mods that run into them into the category of cosplay armor. You use them to make your character look good, not to really play the entire game in it. Now when it comes to that, if the author would give this the ability to come in any other form than what you see, so like light and medium variants, because this really feels like a heavy armor version, but it only comes in this standard 1 version. If it added that, and maybe added to the Brotherhood of Steel, and maybe a unique jetpack modification, it would be a really good just armor. As for now, it's just a really standout cosplay armor, because wow, this texturing is just amazing. I didn't think Overwatch armors would actually really well integrate into Fallout 4 because they're very cartoony, but this does it extremely well. Well, here we are at the end of another Fox Guide Fallout mods. A quick summary of how I felt about each individual mod is that the Laser RCW is easily my favorite mod in this video. It's just a really cool weapon, and I wish Fallout 4 had more stuff from its other games, but I guess we'll have to do with the modders adding them in. I'm happy with the Bodyslide preset, as I was looking for one, and this one seems just perfect for me. The fixing of the Bodyslide armors, I really hope that just all mod authors who make Bodyslide armors take a look at this and realize that just having the Bodyslide cave in to every little crevice that the body isn't the way to go, and maybe we'll get to see some more realistic depictions of armors, I guess would be a good way to say it. The frag grenade, I just thought it was pretty cool to show off. It's not really my taste because I think it does make the frag grenade a little bit too powerful depending on how you use it. And honestly, I'd prefer if it was just set on the frag grenade and none of the others. That way the frag grenade would be, special and I'd be more likely to use it. But that's that. And finally, the Pharah armor. Man, I hope the mod author comes back and upgrades that with some other stuff, such as attachments to a particular faction or enemy, or ways to find it on drops, maybe a male alternate, just something there, because otherwise I don't really use cosplay armors. But still, regardless, it's pretty amazing to see that the creator actually had to make that themselves. They didn't rip that from Overwatch, from what I understand, and it shows in the texture work by itself. That texture work is amazing. But that's really my opinion on these mods. With that said, I'll see you guys next time. Oh hey, now that you made it to the end of one of my videos, perhaps think about subscribing, or maybe just sticking around and checking out another one of my videos. Either way, through the power of YouTube, we now have these fancy buttons on screen, so just click on one of those to go where you want to go. And just to reiterate what I've probably said in the video, I'll see you next time.